I remember flying before and not thinking it was weird. People walked around in socks. Okay, this is
Oh.
random. This is random. I'm gonna preference with that. But okay, you think like, okay, this is an international flight. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna take off my shoes and then I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then I'm just gonna come back, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe like I did that once. I don't know. And so, anyways, now that I'm a flight attendant, I'm like, you know that the liquid on the floor in the bathroom is not water, right? Like, it's not water. Those bathrooms are so gross. You don't want your little babies walking around barefoot. The whole
No.
the whole plane is really gross. So I would say at least bring some slippers or something.
Have you enjoyed listening to the IncrediPaul Podcast? Are you looking for a way to support it? Or maybe you just want some swag? Check out the IncrediPaul store today. We have shirts, hoodies, sweatshirts, hats, stickers, and so much more. Go to IncrediPaul.org, IncrediPaul.org, and click on the store link. Or go to the link in my socials bio and click on the IncrediPaul shop. Looking forward to seeing your IncrediPaul look.
Turn this up, turn this up.
Your professional development is one of the keys to your career success. When you combine your desire to grow with actionable steps, your journey to success becomes an incredible reality. Welcome to the IncrediPaul Podcast. And now, sharing his expertise, experience, and excellence with the world, here's your host, Paul Ferranbi.
I'm Paul Ferranbi. Welcome to the IncrediPaul Podcast, where we learn to become the best versions of ourselves by learning from each other. Today, I have the honor of having Michelle with me. She's a world traveler and craft connoisseur, I should say. That's just a little bit about her. But Michelle, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay, I'll just expand on that. I'm Michelle. I'm 28 and I'm from Nebraska, but currently live in Houston. I moved to Houston 3 years ago when I started my job as a flight attendant
Awesome.
and have been here ever since. And yeah, the whole craft thing, been just dabbling in craft making, but it's something me and my family have kind of like always done. So yeah, just getting back into it.
That's awesome. Really cool.
Yeah.
So a little
Yeah.
bit to unpack there. So what was the transition like going? Well, first of all, what part of Nebraska are you from? I don't know. Some people don't. Some people think Nebraska is just like one giant state or city or
Cornfield.
just
Yeah,
cornfields. No one lives there.
that's true. Well, that people think that. Well, I'm from the Omaha area, town called Papillion, suburb. Yeah, so that's home sweet home. Yeah.
What was the transition like going from Omaha to Houston?
Honestly, it was pretty seamless, pretty
Nice.
easy. I had already during college moved away for a while to teach English abroad in France. And then right when I got back, I became a flight attendant. So I moved to Houston. So I've always kind of traveled a lot, lived in different places. So I was happy to get away from snow and winters and move to a very hot place.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Houston is known for its heat and humidity.
Yes. It's intense, but better than snow, I would say.
I agree with you there. Being born in Nigeria, I'm not built for the cold at all.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
But then you moved back to a snowy place, so that's
yeah, I
good.
know, I know. It's like going from New Mexico to St. Louis, but St. Louis has been home, and then lived in Nebraska for a while, as you know.
Nice.
But so tell us a little bit more about teaching. So you taught English while you're in France, right? Yeah.
Yes, I lived in a tiny little Normandy town, like right on the coast under England.
Mm.
And for 2 years, 2 school years. I would come back during the summer, but I just taught English in a high school. It was like part-time,
Mhm.
super, it's kind of casual, kind of easy. And it was just a chance for me to live my Emily in Paris French dreams and um, practice my French and improve it. That's the
Yeah.
hope, anyways.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sure you got really good at your French those 2 years.
I'm sure much better than I started with, at least. I'll take that. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you don't give yourself credit, but I feel like your French is very good.
Thank you. I can maybe hold my own, but yeah, not completely perfect.
Yeah,
Good
but that's
enough.
really cool. So how did that even happen as far as teaching in France? Like, what was it even a process to do something like that?
They had advertised a lot in my college since I was also a French major. So they were
Mm,
like, this is an option for you once you graduate. It's a program called TAPI, Teaching Assistant Program in France.
okay,
So I just applied and got accepted after that. Um, and had to get my work visa in Chicago and then headed over. Yeah.
nice.
So it wasn't too, they just really required from Americans like a bachelor's degree in anything. And then you had to have some level of French language ability.
That sounds well
Yeah. Not too much, but like enough.
enough that you could not get lost while you're wandering in France. So I'm
I
guessing.
think so. They wanted to know that you would stick around and not drop out of the program. Like, why do you want to go? And yeah, do you have experience living abroad? Stuff like that. So
Oh, nice, nice. So
yeah.
with that, is it more like essay based or interviews or both, or how does that work?
It's been a long time too since I've done it. It was 2016, no, 2017, I think, when I
Oh, wow.
applied.
Yeah.
All I had to do was like write an essay and then fill out their application.
Okay.
There was no interview of any sort, but there was a long waiting period to get accepted. So it was kind of like up in the air once I graduated, still even like, what am I going to do?
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So I found out like midsummer after graduating that in the fall I would be leaving for France.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
So while you were there, did you get to travel a lot, or did you stay mostly in France?
I stayed mostly in France.
Okay.
I traveled a tiny bit, like Greece and Portugal, I think were the only, oh, and England, because one of the
England.
other assistants, my friend was from there. We basically had no money. It was super fun. Yeah, it didn't pay a lot. We just like survived, but it was
Wow.
about the experience. And it was totally worth it. But yeah, I had my own little like shoebox apartment, like 5-minute walk from the beach,
Oh,
and
wow.
was living my best life.
Sounds really nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
So I know you
Yeah.
mentioned that you were doing that and you kind of transitioned from there into being a flight attendant, or was there anything in between, or how did that work?
Before I left France, like the maybe a couple months leading up to the departure, I was like, okay, this is it for this
Mhm.
job.
Okay.
And what am I going to do now at this point? I was like freaking out. I was like, okay, this is where I like start probably like career, get more
Mm,
serious. And so I had applied a couple months before leaving to this particular job, flight attendant, among other jobs.
okay.
I only applied because I had worked at a hotel previously,
Okay.
and this seemingly random lady was there, and she was like, "You should be a flight attendant." And I was like,
Oh, wow.
"Is that even?" Yeah. I was like, "What are you talking about? Like, is that even a good job? Like, why?" And she
There
was like,
was so there's no context? Like,
I don't know. Well, okay, we were talking, and maybe we were talking about like what I would want to do in the future, and I was kind of
yeah,
describing what my vision was.
yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, you would be a good flight attendant." I was like, "What?"
Oh,
So because I told her about like the French thing, and
okay.
at the hotel at that time and told her my likes and interests. And she was like, she worked for a travel agency at the time
Oh,
too.
wow.
She was some, I think, higher up person, but she's like, yeah, my husband does actually work for United for like a bunch of years,
Mhm.
and it's a great company. Airlines have great benefits.
Wow.
And she's like, you get through the first few years when it doesn't pay so good, and then it gets better. And she was just talking it up. And I was like, okay. So I think that's where the seed was planted, because I never like dreamed of becoming a flight attendant. I was like, I'm going to college. Like,
Mhm.
I imagine myself like in corporate world or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
And so I just happened to apply to this. It was just on Indeed. I knew nothing about all the differences between the airlines.
Mhm.
Just one particular one was on there. So I
Yeah.
applied and ended up being a really good fit for me now that I know about all the airlines.
Wow.
And when I came, before I left France, they had replied. They were like, okay, you've been selected for the video interview. So
Okay.
while I was still there, I did the video interview.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was self-recorded. It was like timed. They like would pop up a question. You had a minute or two to read it, and then it would start recording your screen, and you had to like respond for 2 minutes.
Whoa.
Or yeah, so it was like you still got dressed up and got your game face on.
Yeah.
And you get like one shot at that. And apparently they get like thousands of these interviewers or whatever videos. And then they choose certain people for an in-person after that, which is the final interview. So I think I found out that I had gotten selected for the in-person one before I left for France as well. So I was
Okay.
like super happy. I scheduled it
Nice.
for like a week after I would get home from France.
Mhm.
They flew me from Omaha to Houston,
Nice.
and then I did it. And then, like before we were leaving, one of the interviewers were like, "I thought he said like we'll see you later," and I was like, "What? Like, did I get it?" Like,
Yeah, is that a clue?
I don't know. Yeah. So by the time I had flown home, I had already got an email that said, "You got it."
Oh,
Like,
wow.
yeah, the
Like, on
same
your
day.
flight back? That's, like, same day?
The same day. I like got home and I was like, "Oh, I got it."
Nice.
Yeah, so but that was in May. I didn't get into a training class until December, like 6 months later.
Wow.
It was a long time. So I just worked at the hotel again.
Okay.
And then they finally said, it's your time. And they didn't say, oh, in 6 months you'll be training. They were like, we'll let you know when it happens.
Oh, so you had no clue it was gonna take that long.
I had no idea. It could have been a year. I got in luckily before COVID. Some people had to wait even longer.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I got really lucky. So yeah, it all kind of just everyone says like, oh, if you don't get it the first time, try again. But it felt like it just like fell into my lap type of
Yeah,
thing.
that's
And
awesome.
the lady who like I feel like I'm rambling. I never talk this much, by the way.
No, that's the point of a podcast.
Yeah, yes. The lady that had like planted the seed for it all before my interview, I think I had reached out to her like that I had applied or something, and she was like, "Okay, go ahead and call me before the interview, and I'm going to give you pointers." I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh,
nice.
that's cool." So she was
Yeah.
like, "Wear the pearl earrings, wear a bun, talk about this." I was like,
Wow.
"Good to know." I didn't know.
Yeah.
She's like, "Wear blue because that's the company." And
Oh, yeah.
so, anyways, that's how I got the job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think people, from what you said, can kind of guess where where you were at. Like, can you say it?
Yeah. I'm at United. Yeah. Mainline.
United
United.
Airlines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like everything just lined up. Like even from planting the seed to the interview process, like everything just kind of lined up for you.
I know. And it's been such a I didn't even this is gonna sound bad probably, but I wasn't even that excited about it.
Oh, really?
I wasn't. I literally was looking at my phone and I told my brother, I was like, "Oh, I got it." Good
It's like,
job. I
that's,
was like, "This is not what I like imagined for my
mm,
career and stuff." I was
yeah,
like, "We'll just see what happens, see if I like it." The
yeah,
lifestyle's probably crazy,
yeah.
but now the lifestyle is my favorite part of it. So,
That's awesome. That's super cool.
but
So you said it wasn't what you imagined. Did you have like a dream job coming out of college or while you were in college or kind of like a career path you were thinking?
I think I was imagining like business something,
Yeah.
like office setting. I started out as an accounting major for like 3 years, and then I was like, I don't like that. So the last year I switched to international business,
Hmm.
and I always thought working for an airline sounded cool on the corporate end.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, that sounds good. And then I ended up as a flight attendant. So
Wow.
yeah. Yep.
That's super cool. I think it's funny because I can relate to you as far as like where I'm at and not imagining that that's where I was gonna be or even thinking about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Like working in manufacturing as an engineer, continuous improvement. Like at the beginning when I first went to college, engineering was a backup, if you can believe that.
What? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
What? What was the first choice?
So I was like, to go to med school and become a doctor.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I kept it on the DL, but but it was what I thought I wanted, but then other experiences came up, and then I just took them as they came, and I fell in love with it.
Nice. Yeah. I'm glad. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, I'm pretty happy where things fell into place. I mean, I guess you can't plan everything.
yeah, that's true. And I feel
Yeah.
like when you try to plan stuff, like other stuff just come up, and it's just life's way of, or God. For me, I feel like it's God's way of directing you where He wants you to be. So
Yeah, exactly. Which
for
is
sure,
cool, but
super cool.
kind of a roller coaster sometimes of
Oh
emotions.
yeah, definitely roller coaster.
Like, what's
And
going
so
on?
yeah, it's like you just hang on, Jesus, take the wheels. It's like
Basically.
and even when he takes the wheel, sometimes I feel like it's like I think you missed a turn back there. I think you're supposed to take a right, you took a left. But
Yeah,
it's,
you're like, are we still supposed to be going down this
yeah,
run? Like,
it's like I don't see anyone else here. I think we're lost. But it
doesn't
all
seem
works
right.
out.
Yeah, cool.
Well, I know you mentioned that you lucked out as far as when your training was at. So it was like, so you said it was before COVID. So I was December 2019 then.
Yes, I
Okay.
started training December 10th, 2019.
Oh, you know the exact
Um,
day.
yes.
Awesome.
And so everyone gets trained for our company in Houston.
Mhm.
So you don't know where you're going to be based at that time or
Oh,
after training. It's not determined yet, but training is in Houston.
yeah.
So it's 6.5 weeks of training.
Oh,
They put you in a hotel. Everyone has one roommate.
oh, you have
And
roommates?
yeah, which sucks when you're like an adult. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think they try to weed people out that way a little bit.
Oh,
Can you like deal with conflict or whatever comes up?
okay. That
You
makes
can't,
kind of makes sense.
I don't know why they do it, but during training, you get a roommate. Yes.
Wow. For the 6 weeks you had a roommate.
6.5 weeks, which wasn't too bad. I didn't have bad roommates. I actually had two
Okay.
roommates because my first one didn't make it all the way through.
Oh, okay.
So I lost roommate, and then they condense the rooms as that starts to happen. And
So
so I got in. Yeah.
like you said, they actually planned for this to happen.
Yeah, I think it happens like every class. At least they lose a few for whatever reason. Sometimes it's personal reasons for the person. Sometimes it's you didn't pass your exams. Sometimes you didn't, you don't think it's for you.
Okay.
Plenty of reasons can happen over 6.5 weeks.
Yeah. So you said exams. So like multiple exams? Like how many exams and how often? But
I want to say, I can't really remember. I think it's
so
like at least one a week, if not more. But
whoa.
there's like each airplane I think has an exam,
Wow.
if I'm not mistaken. And we have like
There's a
several
lot of
different.
yeah.
Yeah. You also get exams over like the medical portion type of thing.
Mhm.
You get exams over what else is there? I don't know. Those are like the written parts though.
Oh, okay.
There's also, what would you call it? Like a performance evaluation.
Hmm.
So several ones. So you have to like be able to do CPR. You have to be able to evacuate an aircraft. You have to be able to, there's something called like arming and disarming the doors, which is very important. We like basically, once the aircraft door shuts,
Mhm.
we have to activate the emergency slide that would, like we're saying, like if the door gets opened again, that
Yeah.
slide better deploy. So we're telling the door to
Oh,
do that.
okay.
So once we arrive at the gate, we have to deactivate it or
Oh,
disarm it
otherwise
so
the
that,
slide comes
and it can literally kill someone if they're standing in front of that door. That's how
Oh,
these are very powerful slides. So it's like,
wow.
it's probably one of the most important things I feel like that we do during training is learning about the doors, because each
Wow.
aircraft, of course, is armed and disarmed a different way.
Wow.
That was important. We also have to be able to know commands. If different things happen on the airplane, you have to like memorize them verbatim. Um, Mostly evacuation
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
We had a little like self-defense class. It was like 10 minutes. It
Oh,
wasn't
10 minutes.
yeah. They were like, these are the sensitive parts of the body. You can hit those. and like
Oh my goodness.
and like basically get people to help you and
Oh,
stuff.
okay. It's like don't do it by yourself type of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just learning how like the work phones work, which has like manuals and important stuff on it and stuff.
Okay.
So, yeah, stuff like that.
So with the work phones, do you only carry those like when you're on the plane or you have it on you at all times?
I have it at all times. It doesn't work like a normal phone. It doesn't ring. They
Oh,
they call my cell phone if they want me to work.
okay.
The work phone just has like passenger information while we're on board. We can make
Ah,
purchases for them on board. Has like manuals and stuff like that. So yeah.
that makes sense. I've seen flight attendants with phones and I thought it was just a regular phone.
Yeah. I know people probably think I'm like texting, like, hold on, like I gotta send a message. But
Like, how do
we're
you have
really,
signal up here? Like, what?
I know. Yeah, like during boarding, we can communicate with people in the airport. We can be
Ah,
like, oh, we're missing this. Can we get it brought to the plane before we take off? And stuff like that.
nice, nice.
Lots of stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff. So I
Yes.
have a semi-random question, but it's related to boarding and being on the plane. 'Cause
Oh,
I'm sure they told you this at some point. I'm curious as for well, I used to travel. I don't travel nearly as much, so it doesn't bother me as much. Is
oh.
that they always tell you to make sure that your seat is up and then it's most upright position. And I always wonder how much that makes a difference. I feel like I moved like 1 or 2 inches.
They're like, you're gonna need to bring that forward now. Like,
Yeah. Sometimes I don't
that's
even realize
like,
I'm just like leaning on it and I'm back and they're like, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to
um,
do what's right. But I didn't know if there's like any specific risk there, or it's just something that FAA, I think it's FAA, like says you have to do.
it's actually for the people behind you,
Oh,
because if we were to emergency evacuate, they might have that much more of a hard time getting out of their aisle.
That
So
makes
that's why, yeah, all the tray tables need to be up.
mm,
All the bags need to be pushed under the seat because you want no tripping hazards.
mhm.
Like, it's for an emergency evacuation, basically.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
something I always wonder. I'm wondering if anyone on the podcast has wondered that. I was like, why do we have to do that?
Yeah. I probably didn't know anything before being a flight attendant. I just showed up. So,
But now you pretty much know it all.
yeah, we're
At
always
least,
still learning, but
at least more
yeah,
than the average person, that's for sure.
I would say yes. I hope so.
Yeah. Is there anything that either surprised you or was like memorable during the training that you're like, oh, like I didn't realize this about flying or like travel or anything like that?
I remember flying before and not thinking it was weird. People walked around in socks. Okay, this is
Oh.
random. This is random. I'm gonna preference with that. But okay, you think like, okay, this is an international flight. I'm gonna relax. I'm gonna take off my shoes and then I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then I'm just gonna come back, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Maybe like I did that once. I don't know. And so, anyways, now that I'm a flight attendant, I'm like, you know that the liquid on the floor in the bathroom is not water, right? Like, it's not water. Those bathrooms are so gross. You don't want your little babies walking around barefoot.
No.
The whole plane is really gross. So I would say at least bring some slippers or something.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I mean, even like I like never take my shoes off like in the plane. The only time I did was on like an international flight and I was laying in the bed, but I did not when I had to get up, I put my shoes on.
that's good. I think everyone should.
Yeah. And I think a
Um,
lot of them they'll give you like slippers too, but I have big feet, so the slippers don't really fit me.
yeah, they're a one size fits all type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm not really sure. I think I was surprised by all of it because I didn't know most, like, well, I had traveled a lot, but it's interesting to see like all the safety related stuff that
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
we have to do. Yeah. I don't think I realized that like I'd be evacuating an airplane. I'm not much, like you have to like yell while you're doing the practice things. So
Oh
you're
wow.
like, and they like smoke out the cabin. It's like a real airplane cut
Oh,
up. Yeah. And they can actually move it and manipulate it. So they like simulate a plane crash. They actually have like
oh wow.
they have sounds of like crashing and people screaming and smoke and fire in the windows.
Wow.
And you have to determine like which doors are okay to evacuate out of, which doors you block, and you have to yell exact commands. So that was probably the hardest part for me was like the actual performing
Yeah, that
evacuations.
sounds pretty hard. So
Yeah.
with that simulation, are there like actors or people or like the other flight attendants, like you have to usher them out like this in a simulation? How does that work?
Yes. So there's 4 working flight attendants,
Okay.
and then the rest of the people in our class are the passengers. So this
Oh,
takes like hours, or whatever, how long it takes to get everyone to go through. But
okay.
yeah, we evacuate all of our passengers
Mhm.
and then we get out ourselves and then we get a debrief afterwards and they tell you if you passed or you didn't pass.
Oh wow.
And I didn't pass the first time because I messed up I think I just blanked out on the command. I just said something random. Like, get out! Get out of here! Save yourself!
SOS.
No, I messed that up. So they were like, okay, you're gonna do it again. And that made me so nervous because if you don't pass the second time, you go home.
Oh wow. It's cutthroat.
It's high stakes. So yeah, luckily I passed the second time. But
Wow.
yeah, so you gotta know your stuff.
Yeah. I did not realize all that went into the flight, becoming a flight attendant. That is intense.
I know. It's kind of funny because once you graduate, they didn't actually cover that much of the service aspect, like the whole serving drinks and stuff. So
That's just a bad.
we like show up to the first day of work and we're like, what do we do? Like, should we evacuate the airplane? Like, that's all we know how to do. Like,
They train you for the worst, and then they're like, they don't train you how to like even like take payment for the.
yeah, we're like, how do these coffee machines work? Like, no, they do show us everything, but
Yeah.
the service is very brief, that training, I would say.
So, do you have any favorite locations that you got to travel with United?
My favorite layover ever was Vancouver, British
Ooh,
Columbia, Canada.
the
It was
Northwest.
gorgeous. It's kind of like you just step into the movie Twilight, which is my jam. So, yeah, we went to this park. I forget what it's called. Something about bridges, Suspension Bridge Park, I think.
Oh,
And it's got all like the trees and the really long bridges you see on
yeah.
like Instagram. And it was like twinkling lights because it was the holidays, and they had like soft music in the forest, and like
Wow.
it was really cool. That was probably my favorite
Wow.
city. And the city is actually really cool. It's very like
Cool.
chic and stuff. So
That's awesome. So I've been to Vancouver once, and I'm just
oh,
wondering if my observation was similar to what you saw, is that just walking around like downtown, like I was surprised at how clean all the streets were, and that there was not grass, there was turf. Well, at
what?
least the parts I was walking around, there was like, you know how you have a sidewalk and you have like grass on the side for like those in the Midwest. I know in Southwest and Albuquerque, there's no grass because it doesn't rain. There's like rocks, but they had turf there, and I was like, "How rich is this city that they're like maintaining turf?" Which I know it gets kind of cold, but I didn't know if you noticed that.
I didn't notice the turf, but I was only there for like one day.
Okay, that's fair.
But yeah, it was definitely kind of a bougie vibe. Like, I'm
Mhm.
not surprised, but that's like next level. Yeah, it was like rainy and stuff. It's dark and whatever, but that's interesting. Yeah, it was very clean.
Yeah.
I liked it. I would go back.
Did you
Yeah.
try any Canadian food while you're there, like famous Canadian dishes, maple syrup?
I don't think so. We had no,
No.
nothing adventurous. I went to like a crepe shop, um, and I don't remember what I ate. I don't think I ate that much. I sometimes pack my food too. It
Oh,
kind of like
really?
helps when you're traveling. Yeah,
Okay.
just to not have an upset stomach, eating random food all the time, and
Yeah, I can understand.
money and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely understand that. I know while I was there, I had some poutine, and
It was good.
yeah, it was good.
Nice.
The,
Nice.
the random thing was that it tasted healthier, like the food. I don't know how to describe it because I went with one of my friends who is in Seattle, or he used to live in Seattle, and so I went to Seattle, and then we drove up there because it was like a 3 hour drive. And the everything we ate, just imagine pizza and a bunch of stuff that's usually greasy, but like no grease in it.
Oh,
So so it's like it tastes good, but it's like something's missing.
like where are the chemicals in the stuff?
Yeah, it's like I don't know. It was random because we were there for a couple of days, and we were thinking like we're eating the food, like this is good, but like something feels like it's missing, and then we realized like oh, there's like no grease in any of this.
Interesting. It almost sounds like the European version of stuff.
Yeah,
Like it's just healthier.
yeah, it's just healthier.
It's kind of sad that we're like that's normal for us is the
Yeah,
unhealthy
I
version.
know. Yeah, our standards of food are not very high in the US.
So we're just blown away by every other country.
Yeah, no, seriously, I
That's
know
cool.
but I don't know
Yeah.
anywhere else, or I guess I live in that's United, but like maybe just in general, 'cause I know you got to travel a lot even before you became a flight attendant.
True. I don't know. Oh, I never expected really to go to South America, but since I live in Houston, we do a lot of South America flights. So I've been to like Colombia, Ecuador, Argentina, um, Chile,
Wow.
where else? Yeah, a lot of like Latin America. So yeah, never thought I would go there. So it's been fun to see different places in the world, and
Yeah.
continents.
Yeah. So the
I'm,
going to those, I'll go ahead.
I still haven't been to like Asia or Africa or anything yet. So that's next on the list. Yeah.
I haven't been to Asia either. I've only been to Africa once, and I was born there.
Well, you've been twice then.
Yeah, but I don't count the first time because then I left. Like,
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. And you don't remember probably. So
very little. I was 4 when my family left.
oh,
So it's
okay.
like
Yeah.
random memories.
Probably like you're like, am I making that up in my head? Or
Yeah, and there's some stuff like even just recently as last year I said something and my mom's like, "That's not true. That never happened." I'm like, "What?"
oh wow.
Like, I don't know.
Oh,
I feel like you told me this, and I feel like we've discussed this, but now it's not true. But who knows? Our memories play tricks on us all the time. So,
yeah, that's interesting.
mhm,
That's crazy that like you came all the way from Nigeria
mhm.
to the Midwest,
Yeah, I know.
right
To,
down in the middle of the US.
yeah, it was like, yeah, just pick a spot in the middle. It looks
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, looks nice there. Not too bad.
So, going to those South American countries, did you ever wish that you had taken Spanish or
Yeah, a
just
little.
a little?
Well, actually, what I'm most surprised about is that I can speak airplane Spanish, is what I call it.
Wait, what?
So yeah, I can speak airplane Spanish. It's a language. I can say like baño, agua, jugo. Ice is, I don't remember. Oh, yellow. So I know like airplane Spanish.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yes, like airplane related service
Yeah.
items. But yeah, no, Spanish would have been really helpful. I don't ever speak French, which is so sad. Maybe one day Houston will get some French flights, but
Yeah, that's true. I'm surprised that they don't have more because I feel like Houston has a bunch of international flights.
yeah, I know. We do go to like Australia and
Oh wow.
Japan and stuff. Have I been there? No, but we go there, so maybe one day I'll get on those flights.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah.
so
So
yeah, but speaking of French, I know that's how we know each other to keep people on the podcast in suspense for no longer that we went to high school together, took French together for 3 years when my family moved to Omaha.
yeah, he was Paul was just the most ecstatic student about French. Every day he would talk about how much he loved it. That's not true. He hated it.
I was gonna say you're gonna lie on the podcast. It's not even that I hated French. I liked the language. I didn't necessarily like the class or the country. Which is kind of random because I've been to France a couple of times in the last year and I like it now.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know why you took it, Paul, but I think it
it
was a fun class. And
was a fun class. Definitely was a fun class. I
but it was so small. That's why we were together in the same class every year.
yeah, yeah, that's true. I think yeah, because all the Spanish class, there are multiple Spanish classes, but there's only one. I think there's like multiple. Was there? Well, I wasn't there for French once. I don't know if there's multiple French one classes or not.
I
But
think it was
French,
2.
yours too. I know from French 2 on when I moved to Omaha, it was just all of us.
Yep.
I
Like
think
one classroom.
it was one class. I think we started with like at least 20 plus people, and then after French 3, there's like 10 of us or something like that.
We definitely dwindled down. Yes.
And then by French 4, I think most people that took French 3 also took French 4.
Paul was also the president of the French club.
You're just putting all the stuff out there. Yeah, because I got talked into being the president my senior year because no one else wanted to do it. And I can see why.
That was funny. And then he got slapped with a nice book fine on the way out.
Oh my goodness. I told you we don't talk about that.
I know. And then I got one as I was leaving France. So it was like a real library one. They're like, you never returned your books.
Oh man, I think that's even worse.
Yeah. So I had to send in my little euros to pay off my book fine.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, yeah, that's how we know each other.
That's how we know each other. And yeah, because we didn't go to the same colleges, but I know we were talking briefly before we started recording that they're like we randomly see each other without planning to see each other
Yeah.
a
Like it's been
lot.
happening for years.
Like, even since like college too, because there are like a couple of
Yes.
times you came to Iowa State for
Yeah.
like a conference, and I was like, wait, what? Here you-
Yeah. And then we like run into each other in like airports or just in the same
Mhm.
city. And like I just like post on Instagram like, oh, I'm in Omaha. And then you're like, oh, I'm actually there too. So yeah, we've just kept randomly in contact.
Yeah, for sure. It's
When
one
did
way
you
to keep up.
graduate? Over 10 years ago.
Yeah, we're old. We'll preface
We
that
are.
by saying we graduated high school over 10 years ago. College is still, yeah,
We're still okay on that.
we're
And
still there.
yeah.
We're not that old, but when I see some Gen Zers, which is funny because I say that, but I talk with them and all stuff. I'm going to colleges and stuff, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like I thought I was cool, but I don't think I am. I don't know what's going on at the time.
Yeah. I don't even try to keep up. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Changing subject a little bit. Some of the craft stuff you're doing. Can you talk more about that?
I kind of like wanted a little like side business.
Mhm.
And so I like for a long time was just like thinking about different ideas.
Mhm.
And recently I was like, okay, let me get into sewing
Mm.
again. I used to do it like in junior high and like
Mhm.
stuff growing up, but so yeah, I've been just like learning how to do different like hair accessories and stuff like that. Just taking it slow.
Yeah.
Kind of like selling them on the side,
Nice.
and it's been kind of fun. I kind of wanted like something fun to fill my free time,
Yeah.
and then also like almost like backup because I went through the whole like being furloughed during COVID, and I was like, that
Oh
wasn't
yeah. We
fun.
didn't even talk about any of that.
That's true. Yeah. But like maybe
Yeah.
I should diversify my income a tiny bit.
Yeah, I know it's definitely a good idea to do that, especially like beginning of this year, especially with like all the tech layoffs, which are Google, Facebook, Amazon, those huge companies. But I think it's always a good idea to have something on the side or even just something that you're passionate about that makes you happy. I think that's good.
For sure. Yeah, it's been really fun. Like, and also like having a skill that's like a unique or like manual craft or skill or
Yeah.
something. I think
Yeah.
it's like fun. So
Mhm.
I've been enjoying that. Yeah, I just got done making I just learned today how to make some bows for my friend's
Nice.
baby shower tomorrow. So just like learning
Awesome.
as I go. Yeah,
There you go.
pretty fun. So
That's really cool.
that's my craft stuff. Yeah.
We're excited to see where that goes. Do you have like a name for it, or you just kind of just see? Yeah, what's it called?
Okay, at the moment, it's called Michelle's Traveling Tote Shop. And I can explain because I probably didn't. So I have an actual tote bag
Yeah,
that I like put the name of what I just said on there.
yeah,
And that's basically my like storefront. So I can like carry it technically like wherever I go and just sell my little accessories out of there.
nice.
Yeah. So that's my traveling tote shop.
I like it. I feel like five years from now, we're going to be talking about these beginnings and how you have like stores all over the nation and chains.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's been a lot of fun actually. And I feel like I just keep, yeah, it's kind of evolving a little bit. I'm getting a little more confident with it. So,
there you go. There you go.
yeah.
That's good. Like, yeah, I think business stuff is it's always like we said, it's always good to have something on the side and just put yourself out there. I'm sure like as you were starting, it wasn't the easiest thing to do to put yourself out there.
Oh no, it was like scary. I was like, actually, my goal last year was to make $1. I was like, I just want to actually sell something
Yeah,
to know that I can sell
that you
something
can
and that
do it.
somebody
Yeah,
will buy it.
yeah,
So I
build
like,
confidence.
exactly. So they had a like at Christmas time in the employee like flight attendant lounge in the airport, they had a craft fair type of
Oh,
a
nice.
market. So I was like, all right, this is it. I'm going to sell my little scrunchies at the craft fair. And I sold 17 scrunchies
Oh,
and I was
wow.
very pleased with myself.
There you go.
Yeah. So it was like not an intimidating environment. It was small and it was fun. So
Oh,
yeah.
that's good. That's really cool. Well, is there anything we haven't talked about or I haven't asked you yet that you want the people to know about Michelle?
I don't even know. I'm not honestly, I'm like a quiet person, I feel like. I don't know if you would agree, but
Well, since I've known you for a while, I would say yes, but for everyone listening to the podcast, it would say no. Because the point of a podcast is to have you talking. So
that's true. That's true. No, I'm just kind of like an introverted travel lover. And I feel like I haven't taken the most maybe normal path at times. Sometimes I have kind of like college and stuff like that, but
yeah,
um yeah, I'm just really pleased with where I'm at right now actually. And
awesome. So
yeah.
what would you say to someone, because I know you kind of talked about like not taking a normal path, that maybe they have some things that they are thinking about doing, but they're not sure about it, or maybe they have multiple things they're thinking about. Like, what would you say to someone like that?
I always look at things as like long term.
Mhm.
Like, say you wanted to start the craft thing like I did.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like learn little bits and pieces,
Mhm.
but at the same time, you set out like goals for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna make $1 this year.
Mhm.
Okay, I made the dollar. Okay,
Yeah.
next year, I'm gonna have quarterly goals. I'm
Mhm.
gonna try to do this the first quarter and that.
Mhm.
So it's like taking your time, but also setting out like um, points that you're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
and just going for it. I mean, what do you have to lose?
I like that. You heard it here,
You heard
everyone.
it here first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose? Go
Yeah.
for it. As far as like people to find you or like get your crafts or all the stuff you do, how can people connect with you?
You can search. I'm just on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
It's very new. Michelle's Traveling Tote Shop.
Okay.
If you search that, you'll find it. So lately I've just been posting like little projects that I do. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm just kind of trying to build um like my background so like people can build confidence in my abilities and stuff too.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
soon, yeah, I think I'll post products and stuff eventually to sell on there and stuff. So
There you go. Well, we're we're out of time, but thank you.
okay.
Yeah, thanks for being on the podcast and sharing your story from college and working in France, being a flight attendant. We briefly talked about being furloughed, but I know that's a whole nother thing. And
Yeah.
then even the tote shop. I'm super excited to see how far you've come. I know we both are grown a lot since we were in high school and even college, and I'm super excited to see all you've done and how amazing your career has been. It's been awesome.
Cool. Thank you. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Been fun.
for sure. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening, and just enjoy your day, evening, or night.
Thank you for listening to the IncrediPaul Podcast with Paul Ferranbi. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to rate and review this podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform. We'll see you here next time. And be incredible.